Hutton Orbital Radio. We dealt it, you smelt it.
Would the pilot of the Red Planet Taxi Service ship, registration Red 4, please remove your hauler from the medium pad?
The studio. The clock reads 5 minutes to showtime. The crew are in a frenzy.
I think we are all sat here in the studio and ready to go, but we are missing one key member of the team. Where's the apology officer?
He was on his way back from the canteen when I saw him last. He was carrying something, probably his lunch.
I'm not so sure. I heard a loud crash earlier and then saw him running in the opposite direction from the canteen. I think he was carrying something flammable.
Oh, no, I've just remembered. I saw him carrying a bottle of Centauri Megagin that the canteen staff had just restocked. I think he was carrying it back to the studio as a tonic after the close encounter from earlier in the week.
That could be a problem. Those fire eaters have been outside the studio again.
Oh no, we've got to find him in the gin slap fast. We can't start the show if there's a fire.
As the crew dash out of the studio to find the apology officer, they see the flames and a heroic-looking apology officer grabbing a cylinder from a wall bracket, pointing a nozzle at the flames and... it's not a fire extinguisher. That's an oxygen cylinder. The blast of air splatters the far wall with a flaming gin. Thinking quickly, Litho grabs the apology officer's cloak. Yes, he's wearing a rather fetching tartan number, the only thing to have survived the disaster, and starts flailing at the fire. Would have worked nicely if the apology officer wasn't still attached to it. Needless to say, after a few minutes of flailing, the fire is indeed out. But only due to the arriving fire suppression team. The apology officer, groaning, is loaded onto a waiting medical gurney and taken to see Nurse Wyeth, who has a special cream for the burns, a special hair-growing liniment, and a cold sponge for all the bruises. Looking rather guilty and a little scorched, the rest of the team settle down in their usual places, and a voice can be heard saying, "Our mics are live." Good evening and welcome to the show. We've upgraded the studio decks this week.
Of course, that means we're adding even more seams than normal. And what's more, they're going to wibble all over the screen.
Situation normal then.
I can see you jiggling the table with your foot. That's cheating. We want proper seams, the kind that need technicians to glue the show back together again.
You rang?
Well, I hope that we won't need your services again this week. But let's dig into the news and see what happens. EDDB in code flushing shocker.
If anyone can, Canon can.
All the latest heat and mess with our Too Hot, Too Messy update.
It's aardvark being a aardvark, but you wouldn't want to cross one.
Atrus 5060s taking it easy before the weekend.
Avic. It's always Avic. Hutton's BGS plague continues.
First, this evening, shocking news that has rocked the galaxy. Pilots Federation member favourite in-ship data system, the EDDB, is scheduled to close soon. Brackets trademark. Whilst Universal Cartographics have equipped all ships with rudimentary onboard data on nearby systems, it does have its limitations. After all, if you've not been there recently, or forked out a few hundred credits for up-to-date data, if available, how is your average space trucker to take a peek into a system and see what's there, or who's there, or who's at war with who, and of course, what all the rudely named stations with suggestive monikers are? For years, one of the first upgrades that any pilot makes to their ship, apart from a little more jump range and maybe swapping the whole thing for something a little bit larger, is access to the EDDB, the Elite Dangerous Database. Crowdsourced from pilots across the galaxy and plumbed into the EDDN for the latest updates from your fellow members, EDDB has provided at-a-glance information whilst you're supercruising throughout the Milky Way. Our very own Amelia Hawke and her research team have often been found on there, poring over information on a system, its planets, and exactly why that rare item might be found in that particular system. The Hutton BGS team have used it as one string in their mighty many-stringed bow of working out what the blazes is going on. But the shocking news is that after years and years of painstakingly typing everything in by hand, Commander Themrock, the high-speed typesetter behind the millions of pages on there, has decided that he's found a nice little planet on which to retire. Initial shock from the Pilots Federation members turned into curiosity as to whether they could help and maybe carry on the sterling work, but Themrock has been very clear that the proprietary hieroglyphics with which he's encoded the data resource are exactly that, proprietary. And besides, it would take him years to write a Rosetta Stone, and even then you'd have to have the kind of brain that could solve complex algebra whilst juggling flaming torches, balancing on a unicycle and rubbing your belly at the same time. So, with much sadness, we'll be wishing Themrock a fond farewell and a for the mug for all the help over the years. Mash the delete button when we're told to, and head over to Inara instead.
Next this evening, we've got reports coming in that Canon Interstellar have announced their entry into this year's Galactic Vision Song Contest. Yes, the mighty LCU No Fool Like One, and a number of its clones, have won the public vote to represent Buffins of the Galaxy at the competition. Of course, he was the only entry for Canon, as Dr. Arcanon's nose trumpet and flatulator band were disqualified for using an auto-tune, and Miss Featherstone's power ballad fell flat after the high note shattered the glass ceiling in the performance dome. The resulting falling shards narrowly missed resurrected Galactic Vision host Terence of Wogan's beverage, and neatly slicing a number of passing paparazzi robots in half. His choice of song has yet to be revealed, but he has stated that he's been staying up late, consuming way too much avian cheese, which has given him hallucinations, and as a result it might be a throwback to the era of big hair, bigger flares, chest wigs and disco balls. The addition of platform shoes will complete the ensemble, and the ensuing psychedelic trance hop number is sure to be a hypnotic treat for the ears. Organisers of this year's event are said to have defibrillators on standby and rescue teams ready to sweep any listeners in the audience to the infirmary. Audience members will be asked not to throw underwear at the stage. Or at least, if they do, could they wash them first, please? Rotten fruit is okay, but coconuts are right out. We hope to bring you more news on this in forthcoming weeks.
After 35 weeks, or 8 months, Too Hot Too Messy, the Hutton-led initiative to deliver a Hutton mug and Centauri Megagin to all the stations in the galaxy, has reached almost 67,000 deliveries. Last week was down slightly on previous weeks, but the 4-week average has remained steadily above 1,700. No new commanders have joined the effort in the last couple of weeks, leaving the same 284 commanders representing the same 93 squadrons. Hutton has the largest contingent with 77, but we've delivered less than half the total, so thanks go out to all the other squadrons taking part. The Buckyball Racing Club are still in second place with almost 3,800. The Winged Hussars are in third with over 2,800. The Paladins are in fourth with 1,800. The Bear Pit are in fifth with 1,200. The Undead are sixth on 1,100. Ooh, that's close. And the Soteria Accord become the seventh squadron to have broken the 1,000 mug mark. That annoying overachiever Commander Chicks is still leading the deliverables table with over 8,700 mugs delivered. Waller 81 is second with over 7,600 deliveries, ahead of Nemb in third with 4,700 and Shea Blackwood in fourth with 3,700, ahead of Infinite Dreamer in fifth. And the 1,000 Club now has 10 members. Of course, we know all this because it's tracked live in the Too Hot Too Messy event page in the Hutton Helper over at hot.forthemug.com/hotmess2. Apart from station bar bragging rights, there is a chance to win a real world, handle the right way up, dishwasher safe, not actually dishwasher safe, Hutton mug. Any commander that delivers 10 mugs and gin in the coming week will be entered into next week's draw to win a real Hutton mug. Unless of course you already have one. 33 lucky commanders have accomplished this so far, and you can see the little golden mug next to their names in the top commanders table. Last week's winner was Steve King, and if you keep listening you'll find this week's winner will be announced in the Banter bit after the news. If you had delivered 10 mugs and gin every week, ever since the start, you'd have racked up over 350 deliveries now. Unfortunately, only 39 people, which is 1 in 7 commanders, have managed this so far. So why not give it a try? In order to join in the fun, you'll need to sign up by downloading the Hutton Helper from hot.forthemug.com/download, and then your mug and gin deliveries will be automatically registered for you by Antarius's quasi-sentient, AI-augmented Nexus 6 action hamsters, which still come with the eagle eyes, realistic fare and kung fu grip.
Panic ensued earlier this week after a gift-giving gone wrong incident in the habitation levels. After months of enduring the apology officer's aardvark joke fetish during the radio shows, a number of the maintenance crews pulled their spare pennies and decided to buy a real aardvark for the apology officer. Not a plushy one or a robot toy aardvark, but a real flesh and blood pet to accompany them on the radio show for Bring Your Aardvark to Work Day. This would have been fine, as Hutton is well equipped for mammals of all sorts. The only problem was that they appear to have bought the wrong aardvark. Not the Earth original, but one they found for sale over in Zeons at a little pet store that mysteriously vanished just after they made their purchase. For some reason that as of yet station security have not fathomed, the team weren't fazed by the thick steel bars of the carry cage it came in, nor that it needed moving by forklift truck and the big sticker on the side saying "Keep hands clear." The snarling wasn't a clue, nor the little red eyes, nor the enormous snout-mounted fangs and armour-plated hide. Nor of course the invoice which said "Giant Zainsonian Feral Aardvark" ×1 and the disclaimers they had to sign. Needless to say, they wrapped the cage up after careful sedating the creature by playing LCU's greatest hits at it for a few hours until it was comatose, and dragged it to the apology officer's quarters. Whereupon, on returning from a day's scribing of apologies, and very excited to see the parcel with a bow on top, the apology officer unwrapped the cage, threw open the door and stuck their head in to take a look. The resultant mix of soft, squishy apology officer and enraged, just woken up giant Zeontian feral aardvark could have ended badly. Luckily the aardvarks are very short-sighted, and it missed chowing down the tasty looking morsel in front of it. There was a small squeak, some Ouija expletives, and the apology officer, never one to back down from a fight or a meal through a classic Glasgow combat manoeuvre at the aardvark. temporarily stunning it and allowing a swift escape. Barricading the door shut, the apology officer rapidly called for an animal handling team, and around an hour and a half later they arrived to take custody of the angry animal. No one was harmed, though the apology officer's collection of stuffed toys, water full of colourful kilts and pot plants will never be the same again. In fact, the quarters have had to be condemned entirely, and the apology officer moved to a new flat in the station. Floma Pingai has inquired as to whether he could adopt the aardvark to run the tunnels below Cubicle 3, as it appears to be completely immune to the fumes, despite that nose, and very good at hunting down whatever it is that's loose in the tunnels.
Good evening, truckers. Actress 5060 here with this week's update on the ongoing Thargoid War. Now, as you know, we've been hard at work turning the tide of battle against Tharg the Mighty, Boo, and Hackswing, as ever, are preparing for our next outing, which means that I've not even had time to think about putting together lists of systems for you, yay, or even giving anyone any credit. I'm very sorry about that. But thank you, truckers, and of course AXI, or is it AXI, for your ongoing efforts, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all this weekend. Get out there, truckers, and defend the mug.
After a few weeks of relative calm in Hutton space, two systems in particular are getting themselves noticed this week. We are within hours of another chapter of the Forever War, and Alvin's kennel has a spot of mange. More on those stories coming up. It comes as no surprise that Barnard's Star is bottom of the heap this week on 35, but even whilst they enjoy the warm afterglow from the recent public holiday, they are also elated, either by their hangovers or the boom in investment, or both, or even neither. Next worst is Ross 671, which just bumbles along, gaining a point in the week to leave it on 37. Despite snatching a 4-3 victory from the jaws of defeat last week by winning the last 2 days of the latest war against Sirius, poor little Avic is once again within a point and a half of another chapter in the Forever War against Li Yongri's minions. This comes on the back of fighting off a pirate attack earlier in the week, which has left the system on 38. Last of the delinquents on 39 is LP525-39, which, like Ross 671, has suffered a steady decline for no discernible reason. Epsilon Eridani has an outbreak pending, so stock up those fleet carriers with meds and that second-hand dodgy PPE you bought from that bloke in the pub, and put your fleet carrier on station to deliver the meds to relieve the outbreak when the R number reaches 42 tomorrow. The overflow of raw sewage into public areas of stations in the PSPF-LF2 system is the symptom of a wider infrastructure failure. One visitor from Colonia, when interviewed, a Mr. HRH Hankey, said that he didn't mind at all and the smell rather reminded him of home. Ship in water purifiers and power generators to remedy the situation and bring systems back online. Alvin's home, Alpha Centauri, has suffered from a dose of blight in the last week, and the flourishing potted plant industry must have suffered a crash along with Centauri Megagin production, as the system is now staring at the prospect of a large bust. So avert your gaze upwards, commanders, and then ship in agronomic treatment to kill the blight. All 4 of our surface stations have large pads, so there's no need to schlep 250 tons out to Hutton Orbital, but you can if you want to. The gin must flow. At the overachieving end of the Hutton Systems table, we have 7 systems on or above 60%. Whoever was doing what in WISE at 0855-0714, that infrastructure failure rained on your parade, didn't it? Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, boost Avic to prevent another war against Sirius, and clear the blight in Alpha Centauri and boost the system to lift the bust.
shiny the buttons worked. I'm so happy. Things are moving around the screen. Well, there was only one scene when I accidentally put more hack swing up than I was supposed to on screen and nearly missed the ident for your section there, Commander Chicks. But it was recovered.
Was it? Excellent.
Yes, yeah.
And carry on, that man.
Yeah. So things move around the screen, you see, because then when we're talking, I can put the spinny ships up. I've slowed them down a little bit, and then when we're not talking, I can move them about and all sorts.
Was it making people dizzy?
Well, this is a bit more sedate, you know. A bit calmer. Anyway, well, as you can tell from the headlines, the apology officer has had a series of accidents this week. Obviously, narrow escape with the feral Zeonsian giant aardvark, which I understand floor mopping guy has now taken custody of and is snarling its way through the bowels of the station here, cleaning out whatever it is that Flossy keeps telling us is in the vents. We don't know what it is yet, Flossy, but it's in the vents.
But none of us are going in after it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. An armoured, smell-proof, stench-proof aardvark with an angry tendency is clearly the best way to deal with these things. You know, not flushing it out.
You should have left it as at an armoured smell. That would have been
armoured smells. Yes.
Yes.
And no, that's not it, little grey. Oh my goodness! Right. So yeah, we've got Commander Chicks. We did attempt to put out the fire connecting the apology officer to their kilt and the wall and the oxygen cylinder, but it wasn't going to happen. We have Amelia. Hello, Amelia.
Hello.
You're going from seams to streams, and then maybe seams in streams.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I've been learning at pace. I have been coached this week by the Litho Breaker, who's been doing magic with all sorts of things. I think the only one you're going to see on the show this week's probably the credits at the end, but I'm going to add the other bits.
He's giving you the new credits.
I've got some new credits, and we haven't got an apology officer, so I'm going to apologise now for what Amelia wrote because I've now read it. Oh my goodness! And yeah, nobody edit that file. Well, I suppose yes. I've done it now, haven't I? I said don't edit that file.
More.
Oh well.
I'm gonna write more.
So do hang around for the for the credits. Hang on a second. We've had an incoming message from legend that is Taran4295. Are we on a Hutton time? Still just music playing. Oh, it sounds like the radio feed has failed. So we're on Twitch only this week. So I'm hoping Taran can hear us on Twitch.
Seamless.
Yep. That bit's not my fault. Well, it might actually be my fault because I might be streaming just to the Twitch and not to the proper server. Because
that would do it.
Yeah. Well, let's have a quick look and glance at it. No, we are broadcasting out to the correct server. So it's obviously got I don't know, the aardvark has got into the controller and knackered it. I'm blaming the aardvark because the apology officer is not here to object to cruelty to aardvarks.
Last time I was pushing the buttons, I very nearly streamed it to the to my own personal Switch channel instead of the Hutton one. So that would have been a very quiet show that was unannounced anywhere.
Yes, well, I did manage to hit the start recording button this week as well, so I'm not going to have to get the sticky tape out.
Super.
We do have some Galnet digestion coming up later in the show. Some audio digestion, which boggles the mind. We do have, I believe, some CG news from Flossy today.
Yeah, we may have.
Yep. We do have some Hutton Helper results because we obviously had a bit of a sabbatical last week. Do we have some Hutton Helper results? Let's just scroll down my script.
We do.
And who's going to take the reins of that one this week? Who's?
I know you're colourblind, but it is in my colour.
Well, yes, which is exactly the same as WP's.
Yeah, it says wanker at the front. So
right, okay, yeah.
For those reading the script in black and white.
Yes, okay. Well, you've got to read that long list in one breath. You do realise that.
And in a Scottish accent.
You can have
You've got to go
the
full Aardvark Ouija. Yeah, and Amelia, we're going to revisit one of your blasts from the past.
Ooh, which one?
Ooh, well, you'll have to see, but you're going to come out of the entire experience very clean.
Ah, I think I know which one.
Yes, very, very clean. So yes, we have that on the show. But before we go to those bits, I've got some questions. Number one, Frontier live stream was due today.
Of course it was.
Yes. So please do tell.
Didn't happen.
Well,
I actually had the time to sit and watch the live stream, so I sat there and I waited and I waited. Half hour later, I'm still sitting there.
And you were
thinking,
watching the one from 2 weeks ago before you realised.
Oh dear. Well, apparently it's to do with, I don't know, the staff scheduling questions. Yes.
Easter weekend coming up and all that, I guess.
I sat there thinking, this is going to be great. I'll actually be able to join in and talk about it.
Well, you can. You've got as much to say about it as the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a newsletter that came out, wasn't there, earlier in the week, that contained some of the information.
Yeah.
Now, as I understand, the console transfer bit's now open again.
It's alive.
It's alive.
Yeah.
Yep. So the console transfer thing's open. There was a minor hiccup, and there was a notice put out by the dev team because some people, because it was taking a while, were taking some drastic steps and causing all sorts of shenanigans involving deleting themselves.
Mm-hmm. Never a good thing to do.
Yeah, here we go. Console transfer portal has reopened. Where's the little note? There was a note on it. I'm trying to read the exact wording.
Amongst yourselves.
Yes. Well, what it basically said is those who were doing it and then getting a little impatient, please, please, please don't delete your original character. Because that makes it impossible to transfer. Because effectively you hit, I want to transfer, then a pause happens, then you get bored, then you hit delete, and then the team try and transfer your commander, which of course has been deleted. Yeah. So whatever you do, if you're doing console transfer, do not do the delete thing.
Do we know if this is a single occurrence or multiple? Or
no, somebody started spreading rumours that it might help on some social media stream somewhere or other, and lots of people desperately looking for an acceleration and a fix believed them and tried it. And whether they genuinely thought it had helped in their case or whether they were just having a laugh, we will probably never know.
What was the date when they suggested it?
And Monday.
Hang on a second. Monday was today's the 6th. No, it wasn't the 1st.
It was the 3rd. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was probably somebody that was waiting and waiting and waiting and deleted it at just the right moments after it had gone through, and then saw it had gone through and thought, oh, that helped, and published that. I doubt there was any malice involved because Xbox people just aren't like that. Yeah. Mostly.
Well, apart from the Xbox commander that used to fly with us, who was Malice. Wasn't there a Malice XR3 back in the day? So we did have Xbox Malice, but this was legit. That was in the newsletter. What else do we have in that newsletter? Was there anything else important? There was about the feature update, the big rewrite thing that was supposedly happening.
That they're still not giving us the subject of.
Know what it's about, or I'm just reading it now. There was something about winning a PC, but that's old news now because I think that's over and done with. That giveaway ended on April the 4th.
Do we know who won?
The win what?
I don't think it's been announced yet.
Oh, okay. Nobody we know then.
I don't think it has been announced. The entries ended. I imagine they were intending on doing it during the live thing, but now they didn't have a live thing, so they can't.
Well, if it's me, I'll let you all know.
You haven't got the power.
You'll be going
the power to run it.
Hey, I have now. We've imported extra hamsters.
Oh, right.
Right. Yeah. Other than that, was there anything else? I don't think there was much else in the newsletter. Basically, there's an update. It's 15. It's coming. It's got exciting stuff. Arthur's going squee, and there's a rewrite thing, but they've pushed it back a bit because of all the fun we're having with HS 5060 on fighting Thargoids. But the other thing is there is a sale. We love a sale. Just in case you need that extra commander, Frontier Everything is in the Steam sale. Yes.
Frontier, everything it says.
Frontier and Frontier have got everything in the Steam sale. Now, this isn't for the ARCs end of things. This is very much for I want to ride roller coasters. I love dinosaurs, but
dinosaurs
also
on roller coasters.
Also the Foundry stuff as well, I believe.
Yeah, I had a quick look at it.
Yep,
something like 19 or 20 titles of theirs in the sale. So,
and if you haven't had a go with Deliver Us Mars yet,
it's 60% off most of it. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, Deliver Us Mars is the latest one that I've dug into while in the Hutton Games Room. And Moon Bear and I have been playing that one on the Steam Deck. It's the perfect little game for the Steam Deck, but really, really enjoyed that one. Haven't finished it yet. But, it does...
finish a game?
Oh, these are the kind of games that you can. I mean, you can't... I suppose you could finish your roller coaster or finish off your dinosaurs, but that one has an end.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Right. We have Cully's model giveaway. For those of you that haven't been paying attention to the Facebook, Commander Cully has been making with 3D printer and paint and all sorts of skill little models every single month since the start of the year. Has raised £203 for the charities. The May one that he is making and giving away is a Type 9, a very, very, very nice Type 9. There is a link on Just Giving, which I think hopefully... There we go, look at that. Commander Chicks has just dropped it into the chat channel, justgiving.com. It's Hutton Truckers Model Giveaway is the team. You can pick two, A or B, so to give to either Hearing Dogs or to Special Effect. What you do is you chuck some money in the tin, and everybody who's chucked the money in the tin for that month goes into a little bit of a draw, and your name comes out the hat, and then Cully posts you awesome stuff. I missed the SRV one was the one I really wanted, and I put in the tin for that one and didn't win. But I think all of us have put in for the T9 because we're Hutton Truckers. Mm-hmm. Yep. Other than that, there's not much else going on. I mean, Hutton's, we've got War in Havoc. I think you mentioned Commander Chicks.
Not yet.
We had War in Havoc. We're going to have War in Havoc. Do we know why?
Well, it's such a tiny system. So you put 10 bob in the vending machine on the maintenance deck, and it goes into meltdown, the economy. So it's just such a small system, and I can't remember. Was it Avic where we used to go for serious permits? Was Avic
yes, I think it is Permit Hunters using Avic because it's a nice, easy system to go.
I don't necessarily think that's the case anymore. It's just Sirius is just such a big and influential.
Well, this is why when we expanded to Sirius back in the day, we chose to leave because we felt that would be silly, given that it's the home of the Sirius Corporation and one of the engineers and everything, and it would be properly silly for Hutton to take it, and we'd spend our entire lives in war. So we didn't take it. Yeah.
Ooh, and we didn't want Sirius because it would be silly.
Yes. Well, no, it's silly as in, this was back, if you remember, back in BGS days when a war in one system destroyed all the other ones.
In fact,
I remember it very, very well.
Yes.
Since I flagged it and wrote the script about lunchtime, there's now a 6-point gap. It was only a point and a half.
Yeah, well, that may well be the custodians looking after it.
Yeah, because it doesn't take much to move Avic.
But it doesn't take much for it to move when we take our eye off it either.
Yeah. I mean, I just keep, on a regular basis, just keep spamming Avic and get the influence up.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
we push Sirius down, so the other one is, I'm not saying we make them go into war with the Earth Defence Fleet necessarily, but the EDF are the only other faction in double figures. So that was the natural conclusion, is we push them down into wars with EDF. That'll keep them busy for a while.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't happen to a nicer 3-letter acronym.
LYR.
Li Rung Ru.
EDF.
Li Rung Ru. What is it? LY. I never pronounce
Li
the name.
Yongri.
That's the one. I can never get the pronunciation right. And in fact, as EDDB is disappearing, I might as well take a sort of a bit of a late glance at what we can still see there, what we're missing out on. Because when we get this kind of news, I would normally have hopped to EDDB and looked it up to find out what was going on. And it's decided not to work because it's a pain. Anyway, well, I'm not going to put that up now because it's not going to work. There you go. I've put a seam in specially.
The thing that I liked on EDDB, you could choose two different places and go, well, I've got this, say, a courier mission to go from here to here. What do I carry with me? And then you could just put the two stations in, and it would instantly tell you what the most profitable trade good was.
Oh, there we go. I've got it back.
But I can't see how to do that with Inara. You can do trade routes, but you basically just tell it where you are, and it goes, oh, trade in this from here to here. But they aren't necessarily the two places you intended to start. So I need to look at Inara and figure out if you can do
There are plenty of tools on Inara. I mean, the thing with the EDDB, as it shows on screen at the moment, that everybody loved, was it was simple. I mean, at a glance here, we've got up on screen there. We've got here we go. We've got AVIC up on screen, and it is, at a glance, its coordinates 15.88 light years from Sol. It's depleted reserves, a tiny population of 42 thou. You don't need a permit. It's got all the stuff at a glance here. It's power play contested. Here we go. And it's owned at the moment by Hutton. We've got this White Grove Meadows and Bruce Prospect, the only station in there. And we can glance here. Minor factions. You can see Hutton there, 42.8. Sirius, 36.2. You can see it without any complexity. Earth Defence Fleet down there in third, state of an expansion. Everything you need to know is at a glance. And in fact, when we were doing a lot of researching for Amelia, for the rares and things, you glance at this next page, you could go to EDSM and get exhaustive detail, which is a fantastic site. But here it tells me, here are the three things. There's a higher metal content world, AVIC B1, and it's 1800 away from the jumping point. It's also very, very hot. So this is why people loved EDDB. But, as we mentioned, it's from Them Rock. Says, unfortunately, life gets in the way of such things, and with a heavy heart, yes, EDDB is going to cease operations. All user data will be deleted completely. It's not moving to anybody else. It's not being cunningly archived. It is being removed. But also Themrock wasn't comfortable releasing all the source code out to somebody else to take custody of as well. But it's been done. Themrock is still about, is still part of the EDCD, and chatting to people, just not able to run this site anymore. The data on EDDB is still downloadable at the moment until Easter, which is this weekend, on eddb.io/API. If anybody does want to get a dump of the data. And very kindly, Themrock did say much of the functionality can be found elsewhere in ara.cz, edsm.net, or spanch.co.uk. So very, very kind of Themrock to point at some of the other great community sites. But yeah, it is, the joy of this one was that it was simple, I think.
Yeah. It was.
Uncomplicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now I'm going to have to mash buttons to put that one off and this one back up again, and I have no idea where I've hidden it's up here somewhere, this magic button. There we go. I wasn't planning on using that button, which is why I was a bit confused. There we go. Let's put the spinny ships back. Whoosh! They're back on screen. Honka honka. So we do have a drum roll, please, because we have a mug winner this week, I think, Flossy. Who's got the drum roll handy? There we go, drum roll handy.
This week's mug winner is Fantastic Mr. Fox 77.
Congratulations to the Fantastic Mr. Fox 77 on winning a Hutton mug. The Fox does occasionally jump into the Twitch chat.
What does he say?
What did the Fox say?
Has that ever been answered?
Yeah, I don't think the answer's ever been forthcoming. But anyway, congratulations to the Fantastic Mr. Fox. You will be getting the little mug symbol next to your name in the list. I'm just glancing at the list here, and here we go. Let's put it back up on screen. Let's have a look. Event info, top commanders. Here we go. Where is the Fantastic Mr. Fox on the screen? Fox, here we go. Where's the Fox? Is currently in 41st place with 335 mugs and 337 gin. So congratulations. That's a good effort. Of course, it's not 8,763 like Chicks, but hey. Chicks, I can see you're flying while thinking and talking at the same time.
I am.
You are currently in
Quan. Yes.
Oh, you were in Par.
Yes, I'm in Quan Engineering Exchange.
Quan Engineering Exchange in Par.
Yes.
Oh, right,
Par.
okay.
So
and how is
Par? Of the flying and of the talking, but do we have any evidence of him thinking?
They're thinking at the same time. I'm not sure.
Must occur at some point.
Right. Well, we do have a word of the week. Then we don't have the apology officer to present the word of the week. But who would like to? I tell you what, Amelia, could you introduce our word of the week this week?
The word of the week is fabulosity.
That sounds like the kind of thing that would be issued by somebody with an orange hue while being interviewed about fake news.
So before I use it in a sentence, I'll give you the meaning. It's an exaggerated statement or story that's completely made up. If you were to use it in a sentence...
So it does have an orange tone.
Yes.
Yes.
If you were to use it in a sentence, it would sound something like, I thought the Hutton news stories were fabulosities. But they're all true.
Yes. Definitely all true. And we don't have to make payments to people to stop them talking about this behind the scenes. No relevance to news, current, true or false is inferred in that sentence at all. Right, well, as a result of the feral thing from earlier in the show and the accident with the apology officer, we don't have the apology officer, which means we don't have one of those jokes.
Volcarius did submit a very bad aardvark joke.
Aardvark? Where? No. Don't.
Any other kind of aardvark joke? There's
a noise in the vents. Go on then.
He says, what do you call an anteater magician?
I don't know. What do you call?
An aardvarkanist.
Oh.
Huh?
Oh dear. Oh dear. That isn't just scraping the bottom of the barrel. We've lifted the barrel up. We've dug around under the barrel. Yes, it's. But
dug a hole to see if there was anything
straight over my head.
No, you were in danger. Okay, there's no Flossy. We're going to hide under the desk. Yeah, you need to be ready with the that bit. Your bit. Are you ready with your bit?
I'm ready with my bit, yes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, let's go with your bit then.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. At last, the CG's return was true this week. Defend Torval Mining Limited interests and support Kane Massey's security forces. The killing of Kane Massey's CEO has sparked conflict between the Federal Corporation and Imperial rival Torval Mining Limited. Defend Torval Mining Limited interests. A statement was issued by Senator Zemina Torval. Kane Massey is using his COO's desk to excuse a deliberate strike against my company, damaging our share price and testing the will of our political connections. Torval Mining Limited will defend its property as well as the honour of the Empire against this unjustified assault. To support their combat operations, Torval Mining Limited has called upon Imperial Naval Auxiliaries to report to the Orchestral Falcon. Senator Denton Patrius stated, Senator Denton Patrius stated, the Empire stands ready to shield its citizens, businesses and territories from attacks by foreign powers, Xeno or otherwise. As an additional incentive, Torval Mining is offering the following paint jobs to supporters. The top 75 participants will receive a tactical cobalt paint job for the Imperial fighter. The top 50% of participants will also receive an Asemic black and red paint job for the Imperial cutter. Support Kane Massey Security Forces. Acting CEO Philippa Barlow-Lyons provided a statement regarding the hostilities. The Federal Intelligence Agency tracked Johann Fleischer's assassin from Mars to the Tavgi system, whereupon he boarded the Orchestral Falcon, one of Torval Manning's megaships. We demanded that he be handed over to stand trial for this crime. They refused to even acknowledge us. Jemima Torval thinks she has taken her revenge and got away with it. She is wrong. Kane Massey has instructed Tavga Blue Life Inc., our business partner in the system, to board the Orchestral Falcon by force if necessary and apprehend the suspect. We will do whatever it takes to arrest the Imperial Intelligence agent we hold responsible for murdering a captain of Federal industry. To support their combat operations, Tavga Blue Life Inc. has called upon Federal Naval Auxiliaries to report to Gordon Enterprise. President Zachary Hudson was quick to comment that my administration upholds the right for our factions to seek justice. As an additional incentive, Kane Massey is offering paint jobs to supporters as follows. The top 75% of participants will receive a vibrant blue paint job for the Federal fighter. The top 50% of participants will also receive an Icarus blue paint job for the Federal corvette. The conflict has heightened political tensions between the Empire and the Federation, with the majority of superpower naval forces deployed to the Thargoid front line. A system authority vessels around Tavgai have been placed on alert. The two factions have set out week-long operations to take control of the system, which will begin on 6th of April. If either side reaches the final target, both campaigns will end immediately. To be eligible for rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in combat bonds at the Orchestral Falcon or Gordon Enterprise in the Tavgai system. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Thanks, Flossy. It's nice to actually have something for you to report for once. Hopefully we'll carry on with that in future.
I hope so.
Yeah. But now, for news that's presented in a manner that's certainly fabulous, but never fabulositous, here's Beetlejude and Wotherspoon with the Galnet News Digest.
Galnet News Digest, 6th of April, 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, the Kane Massey Corporation attacks a Torval mining megaship. Jerome Archer becomes the Republican candidate for president. And the Thargoid War might just be beginning to turn in favour of humanity.
The unexplained assassination of Federal Mining Corporation Kane Massey's CEO has resulted in a bloody war between two mining companies over custody of a suspect. According to the Federal Intelligence Agency, the unknown individual who assassinated Kane Massey CEO Johann Fleischer is a prospector working for Torval Mining Limited in the Tavgi system. Based on this limited information, the Kane Massey Corporation is attempting to arrest the unnamed suspect, while Torval Mining sees the attack as an unprovoked strike upon its assets and is resisting resolutely. Regardless of the merits of the action, those willing to fight on either side can earn lucrative payment for combat bonds in the system. The Imperial defence is based aboard the megaship Orchestral Falcon, which is where the suspect is alleged to be hiding, and the federal assault is being coordinated from Gordon Enterprise. Some of those who assist will also earn paint jobs for the smallest and largest ships in the Federal and Imperial fleet. President Hudson refused to condemn Cain Massey's attack, while Senator Denton Petraeus indicated that the Empire was prepared to counterattack should the need arise. There is still no firm evidence that Torval Mining had anything to do with the assassination.
Jerome Archer will be the Republican Party candidate in the forthcoming presidential election, and he's threatening to tighten security even more if he wins. Archer has a career in law enforcement. Starting out as a humble cop, he worked his way up through the ranks of the Federal Intelligence Agency before entering politics. He was Hudson's Secretary of Security at the time of the 9 Martyrs bombings in March 3307. The Federation was unprepared for the bombings, which killed thousands of civilians, including then Vice President Brad Mitchell. Hudson invited Archer to fill the dead Mitchell's shoes as the new Vice President. Riding a wave of concerns over security, Archer established the Proactive Detection Bureau within the FIA. The PDB was tasked with intercepting and monitoring all communications of all private citizens and corporations that are sent from, to, or within the Federation, a massive and contentious task. There was considerable opposition from both citizens and corporations over the human rights and corporate confidentiality implications of the Domestic Counter-Terrorism Act. Vandermeer and Cain Massey both threatened to withhold their donations to the Republicans, and a number of factions decided to leave the Federation altogether rather than live under the digital microscope. Having beaten Secretary of State Lana Berkovich for the Republican nomination, Archer is well placed to win the presidential race. His promise is to tighten security even more, whereas the Liberal Party candidate Felicia Winters has vowed to abolish the PDB if she is elected. Both Archer and Winters intend to improve the Federation's anti-Thargoid defences, although Winters has also promised to extend the defensive umbrella to neighbouring independent systems. Archer praised Hudson's successes against the Thargoids, although he chose not to mention the shabby treatment that led to Admiral Tanner resigning his commission to work instead as an independent anti-Xeno specialist. If elected, Archer's vice president will be ex-Marine Congressman Nico Shirakawa from Eta Cassiopeia, another military hardliner. The other presidential candidate is trillionaire Zachary Rackham, whose Just Like Me campaign promises to make every federal citizen rich. Rackham has not yet revealed his plans for prosecuting the Thargoid War, or, indeed, his policies for anything other than a low-tax, high-spending government.
In entirely unrelated news, for the 4th week in a row, the number of systems invaded by Thargoids has decreased, down from a peak of 67 on the 9th of March to just 14 today. The number of systems on alert has remained suspiciously constant, at exactly 40, or 5 per maelstrom, for the past 4 weeks. While the number of Thargoid-controlled systems continues to rise, the rate of increase is noticeably slowing. The number of systems in recovery is increasing week on week, for the good reason that more systems are being cleared of Thargoids, at 40 for the week to Thursday, up from 32 the week before. It seems the fight to repel the Thargoid invasion might be beginning to turn the corner.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.
Thank you, Commanders Beetlejude and Witherspoon. Now, it's over to Chicks with the Hutton Helper results.
Welcome to the Hutton... Oh, fuck this. The Hutton Helper results are sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a free leathery egg for your Easter party. Just don't forget to paint it. This week we have the following events: the still looking for a good Rolling Hill Cup, the request for pre-painted, pre-rolled, pre-eaten eggs tournament, the All the Chocolate in the Galaxy Deja Vu Trophy, the Great Easter Egg Hunt Charity Shield, and the 3-day Respawn Spectacular. And if you can take that off the screen so I can actually read the bloody thing. The Apex Hauler replaced by a Donkey Award. Thank you. Due to the technical issues with the Hutton Helper last week, numbers are a bit lower than they normally would be. The Hutton Helper results are: Torquay Mouse jumped 27,000 light years to come first in distance travelled. XTC Mr. Sly sold 19,000 tonnes of cargo. Rincewind Cymru is top mission runner with 250 mission points. Alex Zuno handed in 555,555,555 credits worth of bounties. Attic 2 handed in 2.7 billion credits of combat bonds. Millstone Barn destroyed 1,585 Thargoids, and Waller 81 delivered 2,080 people to their various destinations. Decals for XTC Mr. Sly, a Radish for exploration data cashed in, and Tollane for ore mined. Please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of a beautiful bonnet, enough chocolate Hutton buttons to make you sick, and invite the Last Supper with... Oh, and an invite to the Last Supper, I think that's supposed to say. There were 4 Hutton runs in the last 7 days. Taran Capel made the run in 1 hour 23 minutes 32 seconds. Steve King, he of last week's Hutton Mug, did it in 1 hour 24 minutes 15 seconds. William P. Ursus did it in 1 hour 25 dead. I mean, no seconds. He didn't die in the attempt. Anyway, Tao Z managed it in 1 hour 25 minutes and 9 seconds. There's a whole galaxy of stuff out there needing latibulated, desalinated, shugled, taken offline, exploded, launched, rung in, decked with boughs of holly, motivated, evacuated, unfriended, ejected, mansplained or womansplained, smeared, deflected, kept warm in the oven, emphasised, fertilised, snuffled, flip-flop, mistranslated to and from Scottish, mugged and gin, wrapped up with a pretty bow, shipped, shot, rescued, having their immersion ruined, battered and deep-fried, dead-drop, painted and rolled down a hill, destroyed, bought, sold, squeezed, inflated, recognised for their outstanding contribution, liquidated, evaporated, smelled, licked, discombobulated, recombobulated, headbutted, robbed, compressed, enveloped, strained, fermented, murderised with an S, interrobanged, upcycled, violently downcycled, disallowed, reallowed after consulting VAR, smelted, loved, adored, cherished, and probinated. And you can earn yourself a very fetching Hutton decal for doing it. To get involved, you just have to go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the spectacular Hutton Helper, available in 3 scintillating formats. Let's face it, anything has to be better than getting your Easter egg in November. Anyway, that's it for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Chicks. And now we go to Amelia Hawke for the Galnet Race Digest.
You are about to listen to Amelia Hawke. She tries all the galaxy's most dangerous rare items, so you don't have to.
occasionally, a rare food arises that serves more than one purpose. The bread trencher that served as a plate in medieval times, the crimped edge on a Cornish pasty that doubles as a handle so you don't burn your fingers. Not forgetting the various garden herbs that for time immemorial have been used by humanity to spruce up the Sunday roast, or alternatively provide relaxation and fragrances, or even medicines. This week's rare food fits into this category. Used both as a luxury household consumable and edible, it's one of the more versatile inventions out there. To find our rare, we head to Malaspina Gateway in Alya, an industrial Coriolis station commanding a system of just over 4 million people. The first thing that you notice in this particular station is that everything is clean, spotlessly clean. The people, the buildings, the walkways, the ships. There's a fragrance in the air as if someone has gone over the entire station with furniture polish. There's a lingering foodie subnote to the smell, but I can't quite place it yet. One of the other things that catches your eye as you wander around is the sheer number of augments on show. Cyborg arms, legs, torsos. The amount of chrome on display is both impressive and frightening all at once. I'm starting my evening in an entirely more relaxing manner than last week. As this station is known for its baths, public ones, private ones, invigorating showers, or huge tubs to soak in, our hosts have provided me with a suite for the week, and the room attendant has drawn me a deep, hot bath, complete with clouds of bubbles. On the side of the bath is this week's signature rare item, Alya body soap. I'm told I'll be seeing its other use later in the evening, before they take me on a tour of the manufacturing facilities. Soaps come in a variety pack of heady fragrances, from roses and jasmine to strong earthy smells evoking an evening camped on the Serengeti or alongside a wide ocean. The smells just fill the air. As you wash, they lather and foam pleasantly, and the bubbles pop with little perfumed fragrances. I'm not sure I've ever had a more relaxing bath. There is still that undertone that I can't quite place. But with all the added smells, I really can't make it out. After the bath, carefully kept at exactly the right temperature, I'm dressed and heading for a soiree with the station management team. Dress uniforms all round, and the waiters bring all your treats around on silver trays. Each treat looks suspiciously like one of the bars of soap I saw earlier. And indeed, my host reassures me that my guess is right. The Alya body soap is edible. Their marketing slogan, clean inside and out, is quite the description. The bars aren't unlike biting down on a firm piece of Turkish delight, and slip down quite nicely. Alya body indeed. We're only allowed a couple each before they're whisked away. Once again, the flavors are artificially added, but there's something wholesome about the aftertaste. It reminds me of Sundays at home. It's said that the soap's cleaning additives provide your insides with a full MOT of cleaning services, leaving you as fresh on the inside as this station is. One elderly gentleman passed noisily alongside me at dinner, and I caught the distinct whiff of bergamot and sandalwood. These soaps are rare, possibly due to the production process, but as of yet, our host hasn't let me in on the secret. And as of yet, any danger other than being caught sniffing my own aroma with glee has not yet struck me. After dinner, I'm invited down to the processing facilities, where I was expecting an industrial facility. It's something more resembling a high-end clinic. People are queuing patiently, and every now and again someone leaves. I do notice that there's a lot more chrome on the people leaving than there are entering the facility. And here's the rub. These rare items quite literally cost an arm and a leg. There are fanciful rumours that the soap is made from human fats, and unfortunately, every word is true. This fragrant journey is rapidly turning into a dystopian nightmare as I watch person after person sell body parts to the soap makers of Alya, exchanging limbs for cash and quite literally giving all your body to the soap industry. I mean, this is horrible. There's an orderly who keeps looking at me as if he's appraising various bits of me. He's only after one thing, and it's appalling. Suddenly, the underlying smell of the soaps and treat makes sense. It's the smell of roast chicken. And, oh my God, I feel quite queasy. Ugh. Fall on hard times here in Alya, and you'll end up selling your body. All your body. Not in the usual fashion, but to a grotesque pantomime of industry. I'm reassured that everyone taking part is willing, and that my soaps this evening came from the thigh of a particularly handsome woman who's now sporting a cybernetic leg virtually indistinguishable from the real thing. But I can't help feeling suddenly quite unwell. This is Amelia Hawke of the Galnet Rares Digest, beating a rapid but ever so delightful smelling retreat from the station before someone turns my love handles into body butter. I've tried the galaxy's most horrible soap, so you don't end up with a pedicure and an axle grease at the beautician.
Put it in a burger for the vegans.
Oh, that one was ever a favourite. As one person says on the Twitch chat, that got dark quickly. Well, yes, it got really dark quickly. I mean, I think we chatted about this before, but these people willingly selling off. Oh, here's a leg. Have a leg. I want a nice robot one. By the way, give it to somebody to eat or clean themselves with. You know, sort of rubbing yourself up and down with a sort of the fatty bits from somebody's leg to get yourself clean. Just the mental image doesn't bear thinking about at all, does it?
And they didn't tell me until after I ate them.
There's an ethics problem here. You know, but then again, you know, they were very open about it. You know, everybody's perfectly willing.
Yeah,
so
true.
they say.
Yeah, I mean the things.
Yeah, so they say.
The things people will do. I mean, really, or can get conned into doing. It just it boggles the mind. It really does. And what are those crunchy bits? Really oh yes, yeah. That'd be his elbow joint. Oh dear. I've got a horrible mental images. Well, thank you very much, Amelia. And I'm sorry about the soap. You're not going to look at that bar of soap at home the same way. It's probably better to get the kind that comes in sort of squeezy tubes and is liquid. But even that, you know, where did that come from?
It's Lush.
Yeah, next time you're in the shower, you're thinking, what was this before it became my soap?
Next time you're in the Lush shop.
Yes.
At least you're thinking, what was this, not who was this?
You know, that tube of body butter. I mean, it begs a question. You know, whose body was it?
Who goes in a Lush shop?
Oh, they still exist.
When I get
Take
one.
your gas mask out.
You don't like
When I get near one? Oh, I
God,
love
it
it.
gives me a headache walking past it.
Oh, there's fizzy
Lovely.
bath bombs and the stuff you sprinkle in there, and you know
Everything smells like food.
Well, yes, and it makes your
Just
bath all
don't
gritty.
bite it.
I prefer food to smell like food.
It even looks like food. They got cupcake bath bombs and stuff. You go to take a bite out of it, and well, bad things happen.
Yeah, oh dear, I'm not even going to read out loud what Dead Meat is just mentioned in the chat channel. But
I was just looking at that.
Well, you know, there seems to be an ongoing habit of people buying Dead Meat GF rude things.
Yeah, I'm totally sure somebody else bought it for him when he was a teenager.
Yes,
totally sure it was.
It's one of those
somebody
stories.
else.
Oh, I had a friend once who ... Yeah, we know it's about you.
I thought he would.
Yeah.
I just had to have a look to see what he typed. I thought it was the joke about the two nuns in the bath.
One says,
Yes, it
"Where's
does,
the soap?"
doesn't it?
Yeah, the other one says, "Doesn't it?" Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, it
Yes.
was. What's the difference between two nuns and a bath?
I don't know.
Well, one has hope in her soul.
Oh no! You are. Oh, you did. I have to say we dragged it downhill, but given that the randomizer, hang on, if the randomizer seems to have picked the rudest one in the set for the opening announcement. Yeah, well, just this new randomizer button's quite good. I mean, we haven't had the one that Flossy kept saying.
It's not Fat Ernie's again, is it?
I don't know. Let's give it one more go before we get to the end of the show. Here we go.
Hutton Radio, where the sun always shines. On the other side of the station.
That was a tame one, Litho. Oh,
yeah, it really was.
That was very polite. Right, well, I've now got magic buttons for the end of the show. The magic button that I don't have, though, is the big warning on screen. I need to program a big warning on screen because what's going to happen in a couple of minutes?
Before we come to that,
go on then.
Just one very minor thing. We were talking about the Steam sale for Frontier before.
Yes.
There's also a sale on the Frontier store itself, and Odyssey is included. So anybody that's got an actual Frontier account, or second or third account, which is just Horizons level and doesn't have Odyssey yet, they can now pick up a copy of Odyssey for it direct from Frontier for £12.
Oh, right, so you can upgrade.
I know what I'm doing straight after the show.
Oh, if it's ported across from console.
Ooh, well, maybe Cecil needs
example.
to. Cecil hasn't yet set on foot anywhere, you see.
Yes.
Maybe we ought to persuade him. He ought to break out his Cecil combat suit.
Are you saying that Cecil is legless?
He is currently legless, yeah, but I may have to see whether we should upgrade Cecil to let him loose. I mean, certainly I've seen a few bars on planets that he could hang around in.
Bars of soap.
Well,
yeah, I think isn't that a song about Mounties? Or is it lumberjacks?
There's one other very brief
be.
bit of stop press as well. Contrary to the BGS news tonight, the blight is no longer affecting Alpha Centauri. So if you're currently filling up your fleet carrier with agronomic treatment, don't. Well, you can still.
But the blight is gone. But I suppose if you're filling up your carrier for the next blight, and there's bound to be another one somewhere. Blight is one of those rarer ones, though, isn't it, that crops up, but one of those rare occasional states.
And it's quite a specific fix to it. It's a commodity to relieve it.
You just take some of that soap from Amelia and scrub everything repeatedly.
Well, there is a large bust to lift. I mean, in Alpha Centauri, not in... Well,
Deadmeat was about to volunteer for that.
So we need to lift the bust in Alpha Centauri. So trade, boost, sell your
boom,
soap,
whatever. Yes,
underwire.
Your grandmother.
That too. Right. Well, okay. So the warning that I was going to give before the stop press stuff that was just happening was that Amelia likes being noisy this part of the show. But before we do that, I'm going to give you the warning, and then I'm going to talk about something, and then we'll give Amelia the go. So what's about to happen is Amelia's going to get really, really loud. If you've got earpieces in, or you've got headcans right on your ears.
Pets.
Then you just when I finish talking about this next bit, you may want to move them away from your ears a little bit, just so you don't sustain any damage. So this is fair warning. Just before that one, we will be back next week. I'm going to be on the decks again 3 weeks running, Litho, unless you really want to.
No, you're welcome to.
So we can probably talk about making funky things happen on the screen and not putting seams in the show.
Sounds like fun.
And upgrade a few of the... We've got some static... Oh, see, I did notice that I've actually got the apology officer's face on screen. And I should have removed the apology officer and replaced with the...
A seam!
A scene, yeah. A scene on screen with static instead. Yep.
The scene on screen stays mainly on... No, hang on.
But a green screen, no. Anyway, so yes, we will be back next week. Do we know whether the Frontier live stream has been postponed by a week, chucking this 2 week schedule out, or is it back in 3?
No,
it's cancelled.
It's gone to its next scheduled one, 20th.
Well, that's just jolly antisocial. Well, look, for those of you that celebrate such things, go and chase some bunnies at the weekend or whatever it is you're doing, or do the Easter thing, or gorge yourselves on eggs. Because that is this weekend. Mm-hmm. We have a Good Friday coming up, which is for many people a day off where they can scoff the eggs, and then a Monday off where you can recover from scoffing all the eggs. Don't go and look in the supermarkets about what they cost at the moment because it's just extortionate.
Wait till Tuesday.
Wait till Tuesday, yes, when they're trying to sell them all off because they stocked way too many of them. Right, if everybody's ready, we're gonna klaxon. Do we have a klaxon to warn people about Amelia?
For the mug!
That was a little quieter than I was expecting.
Don't make it do it.
Oh well.
No, they didn't.
For that mug.
I forgot to turn my headphones down.
See you all next week.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. To go cruising to Hutton, whoa, no journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's the end of the show.
Everyone's buggered off.
Why don't you bugger off too?